Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. You're doing lines with the Let's Not Do This podcast. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the three unwise men. A man who his streak is longer than the guy who asked Travis and Jason Kelsey for sex advice. One, Chris Green. How are you, sir?
I'm still drunk. I'm great, though. I'm on vacation.
You're usually drunk, not on vacation, but that's okay.
We had a Halloween party last night. It was a good time.
Oh, my invitation must have got lost in the mail.
No, I just didn't want you there.
That sounds about right. And a man who, Scotty, I'm just not going to insult you this morning. How are you, sir?
Doing better than Joel Embiid, who's apparently the worst treated man in the world. That poor guy has such a rough life. I got broken fingers. I've done so much for this city. Why do you treat me like this? Like, bro, what are you an athlete? What's going on here?
How many games are the 76ers into this NBA season?
Like 5, 6, something like that.
How many games has he played?
0.
Okay, that sounds about right. He's just load managing, okay, for the playoffs. It's like college football. You're going to see some of these teams now as we get later in the season. Some guys are going to start making business decisions and opting out because they don't want to get hurt, and they'll just go to the draft or whatever. You're going to see this, I guarantee you. He's just making a business decision. He'll show up in the playoffs. You know what? Just opt out of the regular season if you're Joel Embiid. If you're every NBA player, just load manage those 82 games and go to the playoffs. That's all that matters in that Fakakta league anyway, right?
Oh God.
Well, I'm not a fan of load management, but Embiid just can't handle that many games. So just shut up, stop talking to the media, stop crying, and save yourself for the playoffs because you can't handle 82 games. We all know that. Just stop talking about it.
Someone that I don't know how many games they play in this league, but I'm pretty sure he can handle more games than Joel Embiid. Last week we had talked about some of the crazy names in the college basketball season. Saw this one come across my plate late last night. This is from Baltimore City Community College. His name is The One.
Nice.
The One at
like
Baltimore City Community College. Now, Chris, this is a BCCC. I know you're usually used to BBC. This is different, and I'm not talking about the broadcast network either. But yeah, The One, and I'm glad that he wears number 1 because if The One wore, the 7 or the 6, it wouldn't be right, So, I wonder what this guy's parents were thinking. Is he going to be a CEO at Amazon or something one day, or like Hardee's with the name The One? I don't know why Hardee's.
Were they big Matrix fans?
I don't know. Maybe he's Chosen. Wasn't there a guy named Chosen? Yeah. Oh, who was the guy? Seventh Woods, I think they played at Carolina.
Yeah. He picked the perfect tool. BCCC. That's even more ridiculous than being called The One.
Hey, listen, if your name is The One and you're at Baltimore County or Baltimore City Community College, or whatever it is, you may not be The One. I'm just going to.
I'm sure he's probably got a brother called Chosen.
I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. But hopefully he has a great season. Well, we're going to get into some picks here. We've been having an interesting season with that thus far. Scotty, you are the keeper of all records here. Before we go into the picks for this week, how are things looking right now?
Not very good. Did we go over the records at all? Yeah, we did Thursday.
Yeah. We not Thursday. We usually recap them Saturday.
Wednesday. I thought we did. All right, let me share my screen here.
Now make sure those tabs are hidden. I've seen a lot of college professors so far this year get into some interesting situations with those tabs.
I think those are all staged anyways.
All right, give us a little zoom here. What do we got going on?
Still not very good. I am terrible in college. Leon, you're almost at 500 in college.
Hit my stride a little bit. I'm starting to hit my stride.
I got back to 500 NFL Thursday.
Okay, and where we? How did we do last week?
Damn, Leon, you're ahead by 3 games. I'm still in last.
I'm naturally leading from the front, just like in our fantasy football league. That's what I do. I'm a leader of men. I am,
Naturally, Scotty's in last, just like
yeah,
fantasy football.
yeah. Unlike the one, I am the one in this pick and in the league. Just my natural position.
Yeah, that won't last. But last week I was freaking 0 and
Awful.
4 in college.
Absolutely
It's
fucking awful.
3 and 1 in NFL though. Should have been 4 and 0. The refs would have called a roughing the punter on a Steelers touchdown, but we'll not
Okay.
talk about that. Let's see, Leon, you were
I got
3 and 1 in
fucking
college,
smoked. Holy
2 and
fuck.
2 in NFL,
Okay. So you know
and
what?
then
The week before I went 4-0 to NFL. Then last week I go 3-1 in college. I'm going to be good on something. So the rumor has it it's going to shift to the not the NFL this week. I was wait did I hit the Jets pick Thursday night?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I went under. Yeah. So
yeah.
okay.
Chris was 2 1 and 1 in college, 2 and 2 in NFL last week, and then these are our
Gross.
totals. Y'all were both wait no, Leon was 5 and 3, Chris 4 3 and 1. I was 3 and 5.
Okay.
And then me and you hit our Leon hit our NFL bet Thursday night. All three of us lost college, all over 55.5 on 2 different games.
Talked myself out of Tulane minus the points there. I don't know why I
Yeah,
did.
I've stopped doing so much research on college. Been getting wrapped up in college. Too many games. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Stats don't matter, or at least the ones that I'm looking at.
No.
I do feel
no.
like I'm starting to finally get a good read on NFL, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the stories hold for this week. I know that it switched out, but I wanted to do that so I could do this. All right, let's get into the picks this week. Brought to you by no one. It could be you. You could be sponsoring this. Your name and logo could be on this. Send us a email at info at let's not. Oh, I almost knocked my computer over. Info at let's not do this podcast.com. Speaking of plugs, I'm going to give out a free plug real quick before we do the show. A good friend of mine, Wagon Brewery here in the Richmond area, celebrating their first anniversary this past, this weekend. This is a new release. This is the Nebula in cans and on draft. A little New England IPA, 8.1%, but does not drink like it. Very, very smooth, very good. And they actually have a new release called the Tar Heel as well, which is a strawberry vanilla Kolsch, but was really good. And that's saying something because I drank something called the Tar Heel and I didn't want to kill
I was
myself.
gonna say, look at you plugging Tar Heels.
Nah, fuck Carolina. But that was a very good beer. So go check those guys out and tell them that we sent them. Tell them that we sent them. They won't care. But tell them that we love them. Well, I love them in that way. All right. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go into the picks. Christian, you're the least prepared as always. We'll go ahead and start with you on your college football picks here. Two schools that you don't have a shot in hell of getting into: Northwestern and Purdue. Boilermakers' awful season trudges on, but they're a 1.5 point favorite somehow against the Wildcats. Over under 44.5. Noon on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah, both these teams are not great. Purdue probably bottom 20 college football program in FCS or FBS. It's a weird line because Purdue really sucks, so I'm going to go under 44.5. Their offenses are not moving the ball. So yeah, under 44.5. Fuck it.
I didn't look at this game at all. I looked at the line earlier in the week when it was, what was it like? It was essentially almost a pick 'em. It was like Northwestern. What's it, Sky? When I sent you the thing earlier in the week, wasn't Northwestern like minus 105? But then it was like Northwestern -1 was like minus 110 or something. It was something weird like
It
that.
was. I think you were looking at it backwards.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand what you were trying to say. They were +1.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was something weird, and it didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I'm staying far away from this game. I would go under just because both of these teams are just absolute putrid. But Purdue has been a special kind of bad this year. But yeah, I'm going to go under.
I almost made this my underdog pick for the week, just because Purdue had that 1 week against Illinois where they put up 49 points.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell did that come from? And so I bet them the week after, and of course they shit the bed. And then Northwestern burned me on the underdog pick a few weeks ago. That's why I stayed away from them. But yeah, two terrible teams, an awful game. But I think Northwestern's a little more physical. Their defense isn't the worst, so I think they're going to win the game. But you'll see a theme: a lot of bad networks for the games we picked this week.
Yes.
A lot of conference networks. I think at least 3 games.
Well, speaking of conference networks, let's shift over from the Big Ten to the SEC network here. Vanderbilt, the Doors, heading to Jordan Hare, taking on Auburn. Tigers laying 7.5, over under 48.5, 12:45 this afternoon on the SEC network. Chris, you and I share this game, so I'll let you go first, and then I'll give you the correct pick.
Oh, okay. Weird start time. Why the fuck is it at 12:45?
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know if their SEC pregame show is running over, if maybe they're trying to steal into the quarter hour, because TVs, it goes by quarter hour and stuff. Maybe they're trying to steal something away from Fox strategically with that Penn State Ohio State game, which we'll all do a little bit later. I don't know. It is a weird start time though.
I think it's smart to do that when teams go to halftime. You steal some views.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad idea, I guess. Auburn sucks. Vanderbilt, they've been hot and cold. I don't think Auburn is more than a touchdown better than Vanderbilt, even at home. So, going Vanderbilt plus 7.5.
You're on the Doors plus a 7.5. Before I go to my pick here, I got this graphic from, I think it was College News Today or whatever it was. I forget it, on Twitter. But one of the years ago, Auburn fired Brian Harsin. He was 9-12 through 21 games. Hugh Freeze is 9-12 through 21 games. Seems like the seat's starting to get a little hot for Hugh Freeze. So a lot of people aren't necessarily pushing for that firing. I think a big difference is he's, even though, say what you will about him morally, people do tend to like Hugh Freeze. For whatever reason, they hated Brian Harsin from the get-go at Auburn. Then there was that affair allegation with the attractive staffer. Who knows? But it didn't quite work. They're also still paying, I think, Gus Malzahn as well. So I don't know how much money Auburn has. Money. I don't know. Could they have money to pay 3 fired coaches at once? I think Hugh sticks around unless the bottom falls out this year. Excuse me. That being said, going back to this game, Diego Pavia, of course, put his name on the map last year with New Mexico State when they went in there and won 31-10 at Auburn. A win would make Vanderbilt bowl eligible and would send them to their 10th ever bowl game in program history, their first since 2018. Vandy's been surprisingly competitive against Auburn. All-time series is Auburn leads 22-21-1.
Wow.
But most of Vanderbilt's wins were in the first half of the 20th century, when Vandy actually had a really good football program. Vanderbilt has never won at Jordan Hare. They have 2 wins in this series since 1955. They were 0-8 in 2012. Both were in Nashville. However, Vanderbilt didn't play at Jordan Hare until 51, with most of those games in this series that Auburn hosted being in Birmingham or Montgomery. All right, none of that matters for this game. Vanderbilt coming off a 27-24 loss last week to Texas. They've already beaten Bama. They hung with Texas. This team has belief. They feel they can play with anyone. Doesn't matter what's on the side of that helmet. They're going to have to contain Auburn running back Jarquez Hunter. He leads the SEC with 863 total yards, averages 7.2 yards per carry. Problem for Vanderbilt, they give up 3.8 yards per carry, which is 11th in the SEC. But here's the problem for Auburn: turnovers. They've lost 7 fumbles and thrown 10 picks. They're 126th of 134 FBS teams in turnover margin. Vandy's tied for 29th in turnover margin. They've lost 5 fumbles, but they have recovered 10. So watch Auburn if they put the ball on the carpet. Auburn has a better D. They have a better run game. But I give the edge in this matchup. Quarterback Diego Pavia over the mistake-prone Peyton Thorne. Thorne has turned the ball over in every game but one this year, and his pressure to sack ratio is one of the worst in the country. I'm taking Vanderbilt plus the points here. I am going to sprinkle some money on the doors to get the outright window, but I'm going Vandy plus the 7.5.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at that line, you immediately say that's too many points. But then those are the games that usually go the other way. But I don't know if you can really,
It really
yeah,
is.
I don't know if you can really trust Auburn to cover though. And even if Vanderbilt is playing bad for 3 quarters, they'll somehow manage to get a backdoor cover. Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like Vandy's gotten, I'm gonna say lucky, but they've had a lot of fortunate breaks this year, and I think that's going to end at some point. But I'll probably stay away from this game. I can't really trust Auburn. You're muted.
Dumbass.
Actually muted myself. Haven't helped me though. I like this Vanderbilt team. I like the program. I like the culture. I'm a believer in Clark Lee. I'm a believer in what he's doing there. So maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid or the Flavor Aid, I should say, because that's what they actually killed themselves with at Jonestown. But I digress. Maybe I'm drinking it, but I like everything that's going on in Nashville. I really think they could build something. Unfortunately, they're in the SEC, so that ceiling is a little bit lower. But I'm telling you, they're gonna be fun over the next few years to watch. All right, so to recap for Chris, he's got Vandy plus the 7.5. And then in Northwestern, Purdue, I think you were going under the 44.5?
Yeah.
Under. All right, and we're going to all do Penn State, Ohio State a little bit later on here. Scotty, moving over to your card, you got North Carolina taking on Florida State. Knowles, Carolina's a 2.5 point favorite?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking it was the other way around. North Carolina laying the 2.5 on the road at Florida State. Over under is 50.5. 3:30 kick on the ACC network. Did I read somewhere that Mac Brown has never won in Tallahassee? Like at either stint as Carolina head coach, he's never won a game in Tallahassee.
I believe it.
I didn't see that, but yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, since considering Florida State didn't lose the ACC game until they lost Virginia in '95, and I think NC State in '97 was the first ACC team to win in Tallahassee. Then Mac left to go to Texas. No, that is true. Okay, but anyway, go on. North Carolina, Florida State.
Yeah, this was another one I almost had Florida State as my underdog. And offense has just been so bad that I kind of backed off of it. Which is why I'm going the under 50.5 here. Florida State is 7-1 to the under this year and 4-0 to the under at home. And they haven't scored more than 16 points in a game all year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been terrible. And then you look at UNC on the road, they've been 3-0 to the under. And I just think, Florida State, their defense will be able to do enough to limit UNC. It's going to be a close, ugly game. Florida State's defense will be good enough and their offense bad enough to keep this under 50.5.
So for this game, I want to bring up an interesting stat that I saw this morning. If I can bring this in here, Ashton Jeanty, of course, from Boise State, everything running back. You talked about how bad Florida State is offensively. Let's put it in perspective with this stat here. Ashton Jeanty had scored 126 points. Florida State had scored 119.
That's awesome.
That is
it's historically bad on offense.
Yeah, real bad here. Look, Mac Brown, it was reported earlier this week by a couple sources that, I think everyone knows he's not coming back next year, whether it's age or just Carolina saying, hey, go shake some hands, kiss some babies, and get some donations. They can't have him come back to lead this football program. You saw what they did to Virginia last week. Obviously, I think this team might try to make a little bit of a run down the stretch for Mac's final, his Custer's last stand. Hopefully it works out better for him, except for NC State, than General Custer. But I feel like there's going to be some of these guys. They like Mac. Mac's a good guy. He's a personable guy. I think they're going to try to play hard and play for him to give him something on the way out. It wouldn't surprise me if Carolina tries to go on a little run here just because they want to send Mac out the right way. I would take the Heels minus the 2.5 begrudgingly.
I don't know. It's gonna be ugly either way.
Yeah.
ACC network.
Chris, you got any thoughts on this one?
North Carolina's offense looked great last week. Their defense looked good. I don't see them having an issue with Florida State today. Probably win by a touchdown.
Yeah. All right. So, Scotty, you went under on this one, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, under 15.5. All right. Next up, once again, keeping with the conference network theme, as you pointed out, going to the SEC network again on that 45 schedule there. I guess he shifted all their games. They all start at the 45, but Kentucky at Tennessee. Over under is 45.5. Tennessee laying the 17.5, 7:45 on the SEC network.
Yeah, you have Kentucky coming off 3 losses. Tennessee coming off one of the best wins by any team this season, or biggest win. Just beating up Alabama. Tennessee's defense is looking great. You would think they're going to come in and just roll Kentucky, but I'm actually taking the points with Kentucky. Like I said, they're coming off 3 losses in a row. Now they're probably just looking to play spoiler. They're still a pretty tough team. I'm still not really impressed with Nico. How you say his last name?
Imaliava?
Yeah, Imai. Yeah, sure. Close enough. I feel like there's an extra syllable in there. But yeah. Ever since he destroyed NC State, sorry, Leon, he hasn't been that good. He wasn't that great last week. Just nowhere was worse than Tennessee's defense. But yeah, you look at that total, 45.5. That's pretty low for a college game. So I just think it's going to be hard to cover those 17.5 points when Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Yeah, I think Kentucky comes out spirited. Tennessee's probably going to have a little bit of a letdown. Still think Tennessee wins, obviously, but yeah, I see this being closer than the 17.5.
First of all, thank you. You're welcome, SEC. Nico emptied the clip against the Wolfpack, and now it doesn't seem like he's been able to reload since. So you're welcome. I'm glad we could do you all a service there. Kentucky, people are starting to bang the drum a little bit for Mark Stoops, which is crazy to think about how bad that program was before he took over. I mean, he's been a savior there, but I mean, this year's not been one of the banner years, or 3-5, 1-5 in the SEC, and that offense has been quite putrid under them. And I think they lost a lot, and they've had some injuries. And in this day and age with the portal, we can see how guys can reload and turn programs around quick. I still think he's the right guy, but he's got to win some games, and I don't think he's going to win this game, but I think this is a rivalry game. It means more to Kentucky than it does to Tennessee, especially the Kentucky fans. That being said, I do like the Cats plus the 17.5 as well, especially if you can find a good first half Kentucky spread. I would definitely sprinkle in on that because Tennessee has started slow, especially over the last few games too. So I like Kentucky plus the 17.5 here.
Yeah, it's a big letdown spot for Tennessee. And for that reason, and since y'all are both on Kentucky, I'm going Tennessee in a blowout.
Save the graphic.
That makes
Save
me feel
the graphic.
better.
There we go. All right. So Scotty's taking Kentucky plus 17.5, and then earlier he's got the under in Florida State and North Carolina. All right, shifting to my college picks here. Air Force and Army. Army laying 22.5. Over under is 41.5 noon on CBS and Paramount Plus. Before I go into my pick, I did want to show off the cool threads that the United States Military Academy is debuting. Now, I didn't get the meaning behind all this. I know all this stuff has meaning. Obviously, these are just the gloves. Pretty cool. But you take a look at that. You got the American flag patch on the side, just like the soldiers. You see the all black here. I guess they have like their regiments that they're going to go to on the side here on the uniform. But my favorite thing about this uniform is the helmet here with the skull and crossbones and everything. Nice. That is badass. Especially coming
an ECU helmet.
ECU could they're people that have a 1.5 majoring in fashion design there could never think of anything this great. Okay, they don't call it EZU for nothing. All right, this is the United States Military Academy, sir, and they are far superior. And those helmets are absolute fire.
Isn't
I'm
that like a pirate ship thing? Shouldn't that be Navy's helmet?
I think it had something to do with like an army unit or something like that, like a skull and crossbones thing. I gotta look that up, get the exact meaning. That being said, Air Force has been absolutely wretched this year, and it's funny. These teams come in to this game. The script is like flipped from where it was last year.
Yeah.
Army came into this game last year, I think at 2-6, and Air Force was ranked like number 25, and they knocked off Air Force, and then Army. That was the first of 11 consecutive wins in the regular season. So this started this trend for Army after they beat Air Force 23-3 in Denver last year. So Air Force will be looking to pay back Big Brother for this one. Obviously, the Black Knights are 7-0 for the first time since '96. The Falcons have lost 6 straight at just 1-6. Air Force is on pace for their just the 5th losing season since Troy Calhoun took over in '07, and one of those losing seasons was a 6-7 affair in 2012 after losing in the Armed Forces Bowl. Listen, Army has just been steamrolling teams this year. Air Force, their offense is one of the main things. It's so bad. They only average 15.3 points a game. I know that 22.5 is big. I was thinking under, but I think Army actually might be able to cover this, especially considering earlier this year, Air Force lost the first leg of the Commander in Chief's Trophy to Navy 34-7 back on the 5th of October. I'm going to go with Army minus the 22.5 points here. I think Bryson, not Carson Daly, has a very big game for the Black Knights. I like Army to keep on rolling.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Air Force hasn't covered a game this year. They're 0-7
Wow.
against the spread. And just looking at the last 5 against Army, they haven't covered even the one they won a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They won by 6, and they were 7-point favorites. Army is just a superior version of Air Force, football-wise. I don't want to make any Air Force people mad, but yeah, they're just going to roll over them. Maybe I think the only chance Air Force has is maybe a backdoor score to get the cover. But Army's in the playoff speak now, so they got a reason to run the score up. Yeah, I think it's gonna get ugly.
Chris, before you go to Chris's point here, you speaking of making the Air Force people mad. I don't have the graphic. This game is at Mikey Stadium at Army. Somehow, some way, people got into the Air Force Stadium in Colorado Springs, and it spells out Air Force in the seats up top of the stadium. Somehow, some way, they managed to put a CH in front of that, so it says Chair Force, which is what a lot of people in the military apparently call Air Force. I thought that was brilliant. I don't know what kind of security Air Force has going on there, but clearly, Big Brother outsmarted them there. But Chris, you go on here.
Yeah, Air Force is abysmal. Army's got something to play for. They need style points. They win big. Probably, if I was going to put anything on this game, it'd be the over 41.5. Like you said, Army's probably going to score that by themselves.
Yeah, you guys have seen Remember the Titans, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Remember when Coach Yost turns to Coach Boone, he goes, "Run it up, Herman. Leave no doubt." I feel like that's what the Black Knights are going to do this afternoon.
Yeah. I think so.
All right. So
before that movie, they were just called the Knights.
Boo! That's terrible, sir. Just terrible.
Just gonna stop that.
Yeah, just go away. All right. So I got Army. I'm on the Army minus 22.5, and then earlier Vanderbilt plus the 7.5 at Auburn. That is my college card. We'll go to Ohio State. Oh, Scotty, you already gave yours. Yeah. So, all right, the game of the weekend here, we got Ohio State, Penn State. Big noon kickoff is here. College game day is here. Ohio State's laying the 3 points. Over under is 47.5. Noon kick on Fox. Before we go into our picks on this, I did want to bring in a couple things. If I can bring that in, there we go, and pull that out. James Franklin, his record 1-22 as Penn State's coach versus AP top 10 teams since 2000. And Ohio State, and Fox and ESPN are both here doing their pregame shows. Apparently, Big Noon Kickoff is going to have something called Two Friends debuting. Do you know what the hell these guys are? I have no idea.
I've never heard of
Nope.
them.
Never heard them. Well,
Musical guest.
yeah, as a musical guest, they're going to be playing, and this could explain this next graphic. Penn State students are calling for a boycott of Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff for an unacceptable kickoff time. They wanted a night game. This should be a night game. It should be a proper whiteout. They're trying to do whiteout energy. No, this should be a proper whiteout at night in State College. Fox robbed us of this. But I think that boycott also may have something to do with whatever the fuck Two Friends is, because I damn sure ain't going to that. And these two pregame shows are like within spitting distance of each other this morning. So it'll be interesting to see how the crowds shake down. That being said, let's get to the matter.
Apparently, it's a DJ producer duo.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
nothing says live performance like a DJ.
I thought
You
it was
just
just a lamer version of Flight of the Conchords.
I thought it was like a lamer version of like the chain smokers or something, like
I think that's what it is.
a Timu chain smokers.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the matter at hand on the ground here. Scotty, I will cede the floor to you first here. Buckeyes, Nittany Lions, what do you got?
Yeah, the graphic you just showed makes me feel less confident in this pick, but I'm going Penn State plus the 3 points here. If you look at their head-to-head matchups, Ohio State has won 9 of the last 10, but they've only covered 3 of those. So Ohio State's been winning, but these games have been close. Ohio State lost their left tackle, one of the best offensive linemen in the country, a couple weeks ago at Oregon.
Yep.
So it's obviously going to affect pass protection, but even more so, it seems like the run game, which is supposed to be their bread and butter, is going to be affected. Last week against Nebraska, without them, they averaged 2.1 yards a carry. Neither one of their running backs averaged more than 3 yards. And Penn State's defense, we know they can stop the run. It's a very tough defense, right up there with Oregon as the toughest they've faced this year, maybe even better. But yeah, home game. It does suck that it's at noon, but Drew Aller is supposed to be playing. If he's right, they are going to have a shot to win this game, even if he is limited. I just think this is going to be a very close game. Penn State coming back home after 2 road games. Howard's numbers have looked good, but I haven't been super impressed with him. Yeah, I just think this is going to be a fun game, very close game. Give me the points.
Penn State plus the points. And Josh Simmons, that left tackle you talked about that they lost for the year for Ohio State. Chris, your thoughts on this one?
I don't know. James Franklin is not being James Franklin this year, which worries me that he's going to have one of those games, and this would be the game. But also, Ryan Day is on the other side, and that guy doesn't win big games either. So we might have a battle of attrition here on who's going to fuck this game up worse. So I'm just going to go with the over 47.5.
Over 47.5. I actually don't hate that one there. Penn State has failed to cover in their last 6 games as a dog of 7 or fewer points. That's the longest streak in FBS. That stat came from Stanford Steve when he was on special guesting on Barstool Pick'em earlier this week. James Franklin is 1-9 versus Ohio State. Last win was 2016, and that was against Urban Meyer. That was the year Penn State won the Big Ten. James Franklin's 4-16 against Ohio State and Michigan. I think the big matchup to watch here, obviously, this game is going to be Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles and Penn State offensive coordinator Andy Koltnicki. And mainly, how does the Buckeyes defend Tyler Warren, who is a local guy for us from Atlee High School here in Virginia. Scotty, did you know that he was one time a Virginia Tech commit?
I did not know that, but
Yeah,
that makes me even more upset because I bet against him about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he had like 500 catches, and it was
there was
ridiculous.
there was a story that came out the other day. He was a Virginia Tech commit. He wasn't getting a lot of looks for football. He was a standout football, baseball, and basketball player. Started putting out a bunch of basketball tape, and people started, drooling over his athleticism. And that's when Penn State came into the mix, and he decommitted and became a Nittany Lion. That being said, he's outstanding. He's got 47 catches on the year, 559 yards. And he's only one of 13 FBS players that have a receiving, rushing, and passing touchdown. Steelers tight end Pat Fryermuth, who's also a Penn State guy, said he reminds him of Travis Kelce, hopefully without being, a douchebag. How healthy is Drew Aller? That's going to be the big thing. If they have to start Bo Probilla, I think it's how you pronounce his last name, we'll see. You mentioned Ohio State losing Josh Simmons for the year. You mentioned their rushing woes against Nebraska. That was actually one of their worst rushing attacks in the past decade. And Penn State's rush defense is even better than Nebraska. So that concerns me. And one thing that I noticed, and then Cole Kublik pointed out with Josh Pate the other day, Ohio State, if you go back and look at the film last week, was really concerning. It was like they had no offensive identity, and the effort was lacking at times on D. That really concerns me, the effort piece, especially when you're going against this Penn State team, Andy Colt Nicky, who's going to throw a lot of different looks at you. Expect a lot of eye candy to do simple shit. A lot of look at me, look at me. Oh, we're going to pound you right up the middle. And it's all this pre-motion shifting different formations beforehand. You got to be smart. You got to be disciplined. I don't know if Ohio State has that right now defensively. Something's got to give. One of these guys has to win a big game, and I think it's going to be James Franklin. And it's funny in the year that it shakes down without the divisions, because you can always say, oh, they're behind Michigan, they're behind Penn State in the East. We don't have to worry about that anymore. They get their shot at Ohio State. Michigan's down this year. I think this clears the road for Penn State. They can get this win to the Big Ten title, even going far in the playoff. I like the Nittany Lions plus the points. I like them to get the outright win, but I'll take Penn State plus the 3 points here.
All right.
And
we don't think Travis Kelce's a douchebag.
Well, I
just
do.
see Leon.
Not at all.
No,
Yeah.
Travis Kelce is Kevin Federline catching footballs. That's what he is.
We would love to do a partnership with the New Heights podcast.
Yeah.
Please
Chris,
reach out.
You would love
Me and Scotty would love to be on.
You would love a partnership with New Heights podcast. I would love to play catch with Sammy Sosa. I don't think it's going to happen.
Sosa.
I got a lot of questions. Number one, when you go before Congress, how do you forget to speak English after all these years? Where did the roids come from? I got a lot of questions for Sammy. Also,
I know why he wants to hang out with Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, me too. I'm not making that joke there.
That Michael Jackson skin cream. I don't know where he got it from or what's going on there. But yeah. All right. So moving on over to the NFL side of things here. I'm going to hell. Chris, you got Cowboys and Falcons. Atlanta laying 3.5. By the way, when the season first started, if somebody told you it'd be week 9 of the NFL season and the Falcons would be a 3.5 point favorite over the Cowboys, you would have thought they were absolutely insane, probably. Over under 52.5, 1 o'clock tomorrow on Fox.
Yeah, Kirkio is rolling right now. They looked great last week. Dallas still, nobody knows what's going on there. So Falcons roll. They got way too much talent. Minus 3.5. Easy money.
Scotty?
I actually disagree with you on this one, but I might be wrong. I keep waiting for that team in Texas to show something. And it's usually when you think they're done that they show up and have a big performance, and then everybody's calling them. I saw FanDuel posted something calling them a sleeper, and how are they a sleeper? But they'll have like one big performance out of nowhere, and then everybody's calling them title contenders again. I don't know. I just feel like they can't keep playing as bad as they have. And that hook, I don't know. I feel like Cowboys can either win or keep it within a field goal. But who knows? They also might come out and Dak throw for 120 yards and 2 picks. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would go with the Cowboys. I don't know if I have a strong lean either way.
I don't have a strong play on this either, but I kind of like the over on this at 52.5. I mean, you look at Dallas, except for the run game, they have weapons all over the place. They can throw the ball around. Atlanta has put up some great offensive performances this year. I like the over in this one. I feel like it could be a fun game. It could be a shootout. Could be like one of these 31-28 type games or something. I like the over here.
Mhm.
All right. Moving on here, you got Raiders and Bengals. Bengals laying to 7 points with the boys from Vegas coming to town. Over under 45.5, 1 o'clock tomorrow on Fox. So what say you, sir?
The Raiders are a dumpster fire, and the Bengals have been underachieving all year. I think Burrow is going to light them the fuck up. Bengals -7.
Chris Long has been finding more and more ways to show Bengal stats on the Green Light podcast. He's been a big believer in them. I still believe in them. I'm backing the Bengals minus the 7 points. There's nothing in Oakland that inspires confidence outside of Brock Bowers, and he can't do it all. So I'm going Cincinnati minus the 7 here as well. And that's in Oakland. I mean, Las Vegas.
I agree with both of you.
Kiss of death.
Raiders might be taking, even though they did show some fight late against Kansas City last week.
It's a division.
But yeah,
game.
the Bengals. Yeah, but the Bengals they gotta get rolling. They're not as bad as their record indicates. I could see Joe Burrow just going off 20-point win or something. But yeah, I like the Bengals a lot.
This
the
feels
Bengals
like
are the AFC's version of the Cowboys right now. It seems
they just start slow. They just start slow, and I feel like this is going to be one of those games. The Fox camera is going to be all over Joe Burrow as he walks in wearing like a mink coat or something like that. Looking like Joe Namath in 1969. I'm sure Higgins and Chase are going to have their chains all over the place. Those guys are going to show up. They're going to look good. They're going to go off. I think. Is Chris frozen?
Higgins is probably out again. He's doubtful.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well.
So things are back to normal. He's got he'll feel comfortable without Higgins out there.
I missed the injury report. I just assumed he was healthy, but one should never assume that T. Higgins is healthy. That being said, I'm still going down.
I have him in both of my money leagues, so I'm always aware Mr. gets hurt in practice every other week.
Well, all right. Next up for Chris, you got Bears at Cardinals. We are who they are who we thought they are, or whatever.
They were,
yeah. Rest. He passed away, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Coach. They are who we thought they are. But Bears against the Cardinals. The boys in the desert laying 2 points. 44.5 is the over under. 4:05 tomorrow on CBS. America's most watched network is what Jim Nantz tells us. But go on.
I think the Bears are the right side in this game. The Cardinals, they have a good running game. Still not sure what to make of Kyler Murray, but I think Caleb Williams is going to have a big game this week after a disappointing game last week. Bears need to get back on track before they lose any more ground in the NFC North. So, Bears +2.
I'm an over guy. I guess I overeat, I overdrink, if that's a thing. I guess I'm just an over guy. I'm gonna go.
That's a thing. That's definitely a thing.
I'm gonna go over 44.5 here. I feel like Roma Dunze and Chicago, Caleb Williams. I feel like they're gonna be able to throw it around a little bit. I like Kyler Murray. I like to make jokes about his size. I love it when he's scrambling and it looks like a 3-year-old that stole the TV remote trying to get away from his parents. But Marvin Harrison Jr. adds another component to that offense. And Michael Wilson has played well over the last couple of weeks. And I really like Trey McBride as well, the tight end there in Arizona. I think they both have propensity to put some points on the board. I like the over 44.5 in this one.
Yeah, I kind of like the over, and I kind of like the Cardinals here. Just them at home, the Bears losing the way they did last week with their I forget the defensive back's name.
Oh, yeah,
Hilarious plays going on behind you, and then you're supposed to be the guy that was on Noah Brown in the back of the end, well, in the front of the end zone. But yeah, I don't know. I just think the Cardinals are
Tyreek Stevenson.
There you go, that idiot. But yeah, it's probably be a close game. But I don't know. Something tells me the Cardinals are gonna win by one possession.
All right. So the recap Chris's card here. Cowboys Falcons, you got
Falcons -3.5.
And then in Raiders Bengals.
Bengals -7.
And the one we just did, Bears Cards.
Bears +2.
Bears +2 for him. All right, moving over to Scotty here, sir. With you, I almost pulled up North Carolina and Florida State. That's not an NFL game. You got Commanders and the Giants. Commies laying the 4 points in the Meadowlands. Over under is 44.5. And I have this game on my card as well, so I will go after you. But you have the floor, sir.
All right. I'm going with the over 44.5. I have a feeling, Leon, you might be on the same side. But yeah, first matchup this year, it was 21-18. But my Commanders had 400 yards in that game, 7 field goals. In Kingsbury, that was like the week before he really opened up the playbook for Jaden Daniels. Totally different team now. And, our defense has been playing better. Everybody's saying how much improved it is, but I'm not sold on the defense. I think both teams are going to be able to get in the 20s here. Malik Neighbors is going to have a big game. McLaurin will have a big game. And yeah, I think our offense will get back to putting up a lot of points again. And this feels like a 27 or 30 to 21 game or something like that. So give me the over.
I had the over penciled in here, but I'm actually going to take Washington minus the 4 points here. I really like the Giants' defensive line, especially Dexter Lawrence. He's just a problem. If you don't follow Coach Dan Casey on Instagram or Twitter, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're a football fan, he's an offensive mastermind, but he posts a lot of the defensive clips too. And he had a cut up of Lawrence against the Steelers, and he's just an absolute menace out there. Watching that guy play in the trenches is a lot of fun. That being said, he can't score points for the Giants unless obviously creates a turnover and scores, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't believe in Daniel Jones. I know what's the running back for the Giants. He cleared concussion protocol.
Tyron Tracy.
Yeah, he'll be back. I don't know. I just look at the Giants. I'm like, where are the points coming from? And that concerns me. Malik Neighbors is good, but I just feel like Washington has too much firepower. I like the way Jaden Daniels is playing. Terry McLaurin's played well. I just think they have too much firepower. I'm gonna go with Washington minus the 4 points here. And I know it's a division game. They know each other well. It's probably going to be a little bit, might be close. But I feel like Washington gets to score late to separate things. I'll take them minus the 4.
1 p.m.
hope
Daniel
you're
Jones is different.
I hope you're right, but I don't. I'm just staying away from this one. I'm just going to watch as a fan and root for the Commanders. No betting interest whatsoever.
I was saying 1 p.m. Daniel Jones is different.
Oh yeah, well that's
He can
true.
put up some points.
So you tell me once the lights go down in the city, he's not good. When the lights go down.
Don't get us DMCA'd. Especially your terrible, terrible voice.
What was that? Was that Journey? I think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's Journey. Is it Journey?
No, that is Journey. Yeah.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah,
he's a reverse vampire.
Reverse vampire. So he's just a normal citizen.
He's a human being.
Yeah, which is what he looks like. He just looks like a finance bro. Like he literally walks out of the Giants facility. He catches the MTA train into the city. He walks into Bear Stearns or something. I don't even know if they still exist. But he walks into Bear Stearns with a button down and a Patagonia vest on top of it. And someone's going to hand him a 6-figure job. That's Daniel Jones. He's going to go out for outing at the company happy hour. and talk to Liz from accounting. That's Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
By the way,
His Eli face is better than Eli's face.
oh no. And Arch Manning is developing that Eli face too. It must be the Manning family blood to have that. And Daniel Jones looks like he's like a Manning 2 steps removed on the family tree via like divorce and shotgun wedding or something. So all right, I'm gonna go Commanders minus the 4 points here. Scotty, next up on your card, you got Chargers and the Browns. Before you go into your pick and we break things down here, I just want to bring this in. The Browns have started 36 different starting quarterbacks since 2002. This per DraftKings,
Unreal.
and this is the entire list. I know that's hard to read. I don't expect you to read it, but that's the entire list of quarterbacks. Remember that picture that went viral a couple years ago of the jersey, and they crossed out the number, just had all the names on the back. I mean, that thing's got to be like Rapunzel's hair at this point. Like
That's insane.
insane. But Jameis Winston, a 36th quarterback to start for the Browns since '02. Chargers are laying 1.5 as they go into Cleveland. Over under 42.5, 1 p.m. tomorrow on CBS. Scotty, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going the under 42.5 here. Chargers are 6-1 to the under this year. This is the second highest point total they've had all year. I think that defense is too good. Jameis, he rarely has 2 good games in a row. He's a very up and down quarterback. I could see him just showing up having a terrible game. But the Browns defense is still solid. Yeah, I just think this is a lot of points for these two teams. Give me the under.
I don't have a read on this game at all. I just look at this game and I just think gross. Just gross. Like, immediately when I looked at it was like, ugh. And this is one of those games where you pray to God, Buddha, Allah, the spirit in the sky, Joe Frazier, whoever your Lord is, that you have NFL Red Zone and NFL Sunday Ticket, so you aren't forced to watch this whole thing. If you're in Shaker Heights, Ohio, and you're watching this game on CBS, I feel sorry for you. A, because you live in Ohio, but B, because you have to watch this game. This is just gross. I would stay far, far away from this. If I had to put anything on this, I'd go under. It would probably be a 12-9 game with just field goals and awfulness.
I don't think the game is going to be that bad.
Really?
Not with Jameis on this under. I know I just said he's not
It'll
going
be
to have
fun.
a game, but he's still going to be fun.
He's
And the
gonna slug
Chargers
it.
have a good team. They have good run game, good defense.
Well, that is
Harbaugh's
true.
up there.
Jameis will make things interesting. He might throw a pass to Jim Harbaugh, maybe.
Nick
You
Chubb is
never know
back.
what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. But no, outside of Jameis, if this game didn't have Jameis, it would be even grosser. Well, at least you get the what's Jameis going to do factor. Because something dumb is coming. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, I'm going to go under the 42.5 here.
I think the Browns are turning a page because they have Jameis. They were miserable playing with Deshaun Watson, and now that's no longer a thing. But Jim Harbaugh finds ways to win games. That's just what he does. So it's going to be an interesting game, to say the least. I would lean Chargers minus 1.5.
Speaking of Deshaun Watson, I do have to bring this in. Obviously, him being out for the year. I got an ad, and I don't know why I got this ad on Fanatics this morning, but it was on my I think it's Instagram. And I had to bring this in. I just went to fanatics.com now, so I'm sure my feed is going to be full of Brown shit for the rest of the year. But here we go. If you're a Browns fan, and maybe you want to burn this or put it in effigy or whatever, this is his game-used jersey from his game against the Jags on September 15th, which he was the one quarterback that didn't like the Jags up this year. What does that number say right there?
$7,500.
Yeah, $7,500.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is more than what Chris makes in a year.
$7,400 too much.
Yeah. I literally, if you want to have this, to like burn, maybe we should like raise money and like send the proceeds to like a charity. I'm not gonna make a joke. Maybe we should just raise money from these proceeds to a charity, and then we have like a ritualistic burning of this in front of like a prison or
How are
something. I
we
don't
gonna
know.
donate the proceeds if we're paying $7,500 for this shit?
Yeah.
Well,
Deshaun Watson probably knows a few charities.
you rate you to set it on fire. We raise. He probably does. We to burn this to participate in the Deshaun Watson jersey burning. That's where we raise the money and give the money to a charity. Maybe we need to do that because we're going to have to crowdsource buying this. It's sad that three men in their 30s and 40s don't have $7,500 between them, but we may have to crowdsource this.
I do, but I'm not buying that shit.
If you like and subscribe on YouTube
Yeah.
and share with your friends, we might be able to afford this eventually.
Yeah, so we can burn it. And yeah, but I just wanted to put that out there. $7,500. Now I think the pants were a little bit cheaper, which that leads into a whole other conversation. If you want Deshaun Watson's pants, they're $1,499 there.
I think those should
I'm
be
sure
more because
I'm sure he will give you his pants for free if you give him a butt massage. He'll
I was
just
gonna
leave
say
them
I'm
there
so
for you.
yeah. I'm surprised they're not more expensive because how often does he even wear pants? It's like a rare thing.
Remember, we talked about LBJ on Thursday and how LBJ just like to pull that thing out. Maybe if you believe in reincarnation, maybe LBJ was reincarnated inside Deshaun Watson. I don't know, but yeah. All right,
Yeah, some jokes I'm not making there too.
yeah. Let's move on to the next.
Let's not
game
do
here.
this.
Oh yes, Thursday, 6:45, right here on this same platform. All right, Scotty, you got Colts and Vikings. Vikings laying the 5.5 over under 46.5. 8:20 p.m. Sunday night on NBC and Peacock. And of course,
Terrible
last
Sunday night
time,
game.
well, the last time these two teams got together was like the big comeback, right? It was like 2022, I think, when the Colts had a 33-0 lead at the half, and the Vikings came back and won that game. I remember I won a lot of money on the parlay that day because of that Vikings comeback.
Was that the year the Vikings were just winning all these close games and
Yeah,
doing crazy shit?
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that.
The Case Keenum year.
No, Kirk.
No, it was Cousins.
Yeah,
Oh, was it?
Kirk was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but this was that big comeback when like the biggest regular season comeback in history or whatever, 33-0 down at the half
Wow.
there. But all right, no, maybe this game will be exciting like that one. I doubt it. But Scotty, you had the floor.
Yeah, both of these teams are undefeated against the spread on the road this year. The Colts are the road team. So give me the Colts plus 5.5. They are 5-0 on the road, like I just said, against the spread. 7-1 overall. They have a quarterback that actually wants to be in the game now. Flacco, he's got a couple good games left in him before he falls off a cliff again, like he tends to do. Yeah, the Vikings defense, they've given up 30 points each of the last 2 weeks. So they're declining a little bit. And yeah, I think the Colts have a good receiving crew that hasn't been unlocked yet. So I think Flacco obviously is going to help that, like I said, for next couple weeks at least. You look at the Vikings, Darnold's still putting up good numbers even when the team is kind of struggling. But I still don't fully trust him. They just lost their left tackle, former Hokie Christian Durashaw. So I have to see how they, as soon as he went out, they gave up that safety last week, last Thursday night. So I have to see how they adjust to that. And I think the Colts are live to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. Yeah, give me the Colts plus the 5.5.
I pretty much co-sign everything that you just said there. I mean,
Shit.
hey, I was 4-0 2
If it
weeks
was
ago.
college,
in
I'd be
the
okay with
league.
it.
But no, I pretty much co-signed everything you said there. I mean, Anthony Richardson, too tired to play. Well, move out of the way, young man, and let the 39-year-old Joe Flacco in. He'll have the stamina to get this done. Hey, let's face it. These backup quarterbacks, the energy tends to run out a little bit. You get that. It's like when you fire a coach, you get that dead cat bounce sometimes the next game. But Flacco works better as a starter. You look at his numbers since he's been kind of a journeyman. as a starter, he works better than when he comes in relief. You saw that run he had with Cleveland last year. And I love what you said about the Colts receivers. There's a lot of underrated talent there. I think Minnesota wins this game, but I think the Colts cover. I think they keep it close, and just for the reason you said, because that Vikings defense there, I think it's actually be a fun game to watch. But give me Indy plus 5.5. I actually bet that one this morning.
Vikings
All right,
big.
save us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Vikings big. Yeah. They're just a much better team. The Colts,
I bet
Joe
you do like
Flacco is. Shut the fuck up, Lena.
you like big Vikings, don't you? Go ahead and say it. You like big Swedes, don't you? You sick fuck.
Jesus.
If anybody does, that probably
Go.
be you, Leon.
Remember those Coors Light commercials with the Swedish like bikini volleyball team, like back in the day?
Nope.
You
No.
can't. Well, you can't make those commercials anymore, sadly. But
I'm sure you'll send it in the group chat, though.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyway, go on, Chris. I'm sorry.
I think the Colts are done. Anthony Richardson is load managing, and Flacco is a backup for a reason. I think that's going to show itself. The Vikings defense has been pretty bad the last couple of weeks. I think they turn it around this week. Vikings minus 5.5.
By the way, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like I'm going to bet. I haven't even looked at the lines on this, but I feel like I'm going to bet Harrison Smith interception for like this week. I feel like he gets one, and maybe
Sure.
late to seal the game, but I feel like he gets one. Which, by the way, just to go off the card real quick, I've never seen this before. I'm watching Game Day. Game Day is at State College, Ohio State, Penn State. They have Travis Hunter there. I guess Colorado on their bye for Colorado. Travis Hunter is there. You just never see that with college.
Gotta get
A
that
player-
Heisman, them Heisman votes in.
Campaign.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, recap Scotty's NFL card. Commanders, Giants, you went over.
Over 44.5.
And then this ugly Chargers, Browns.
Under 42.5.
And then Colts, Vikings.
The Colts plus the 5.5.
All righty. Then moving over to my card here. Dolphins, Bills, Buffalo laying the 6 points. Over under is 49.5. 1 p.m. on CBS. I had this on my card. I haven't put a lot of notes on it. I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I look at this game. It's one of those games I look at, and I'm looking at this spread, and I can make a compelling argument without needing a bunch of stats and stuff either way. So I'm just going to go with my heart, and that's what that's what I'm trusting here on this pick. I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to choose love, as what Smitty said on Barstool when he went on this little vacation or whatever. But I'm going to choose love here, and I
What the
love
fuck are you talking about?
I love buffalo wings. I love buffalo wings. I love beer. I love diving through tables. I like cooler weather. I'm going to go with Bills Mafia. I'm going to go with the Bills minus the 6 points here. I think the East is theirs. I think, obviously put them in this boat again outside of Kansas City, who somehow gets every call ever. I think they're the second best team in football right now. I'm going to go Buffalo minus the 6 points here. I think it's just a little too late for Miami. I know Mike McDaniel is saying to trust the process. That's actually really funny that he said that, but I think it's just a little too late for them. They're too far back. I'm taking Buffalo minus the 6. Choosing love. My love of my love of Bills Mafia and the culture is what I'm choosing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I agree with everything you just said, but I do like the Bills minus the 6. Yeah, they're just rolling right now. Amari Cooper's in there. All of a sudden, they went from a terrible receiving core to a very good one. Tua, I still think it's going to take him a couple weeks to get fully back in tune. Yeah, give me the Bills.
Christopher?
Yeah, this game has all the makings. If Tua if he can come back and do what he was doing before he got his concussion against the Bills, it could be a shootout, and it could be close. It is a division game. The Dolphins are desperate right now. And for that reason, I'm going to go under 49.5. I think it's going to be ugly. Yeah, Josh Allen's going to Josh Allen eventually. Probably throw a couple picks or have a stupid fumble. And I think the Dolphins have in my opinion, they have a better running game. Cook's been pretty good, but I think they're going to try and control the clock, especially on the road. So under 49.5 for me.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I do agree with that attack with Achan and Mostert. I think they had that two-headed beast there. It's funny to look at the Dolphins' offense, which was designed to be kind of like a Maserati, but it's almost like they want to control the clock more. With that running team, like you want Josh Allen to not have the football in his hands. It's funny to see Miami kind of have to shift and play a different game than you would expect them to. I don't think they want to get in the shootout with Buffalo.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so I'm on Bills -6. We already talked about this one. I'm on Commanders -4 against the Giants here, and then Lions, Packers, Detroit laying the 3 points over under 47.5, 425 game on Fox here. Before I go into my pick, one thing I wanted to bring up here: the Lions, according to Barstool Gambling, 14-3 against the spread in their last 17 divisional matchups and in their last 17 road games as well.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Impressive.
That's interesting there.
What's the deal with Love? Is he okay?
Yeah, that's one of my main points. I don't know what the deal is. Malik Willis has looked good in relief in the games that he has played. Obviously, he's auditioning for the other 31 teams in the league. Well, maybe 30. I don't think he wants to go back to Tennessee, but auditioning for the other 30 teams in the league there. Look, I like Detroit. And until you show me something otherwise, I think this game is going to be a lot of fun. I was going to take Detroit -3, but as I look at this, and I was almost about to say it, Green Bay can still score. And, they have a different hero today. Sometimes it's Dobbs. Sometimes it's Wicks. Reed can step up and play. Josh Jacobs is great with the ball. The tight end, his name is escapes me. I think it's Tucker Kraft, has played well. I think it's going to be points in this game. And, I mean, the way Detroit plays offense, they can hit this themselves sometimes. I like the over 47.5 here. I did a live computation in my brain. You saw the little mouse on the hamster wheel turning there. I'm going to go over to 47.5 in a live pivot, live on air. I'm going to go 47.5 on the over.
I kind of agree with you on the over. I was really liking the Packers until I saw that Jair Alexander's not going to play.
Yep.
I don't know. I still feel like the Packers might be able to keep this close. Jared Goff is not going to be indoors, so you never know what he's going to do. But I think I like the over as well. If I had to pick something, being that Alexander's out, both offenses are going to be able to put up points.
Is there supposed to be weather tomorrow?
I was just about to look that up because I don't feel like we're in typical Green Bay territory right now. Let me go and pull that up. This is from
55 degrees, but it's supposed to rain and 16-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep. So change that to the under for everybody then. Yeah, if they were going to have good weather, I think this might be the most entertaining game of the week. I thought you were going to go with Love again, and your love of beer and cheese, and the guy's name is Love. But I'm leaning Lions if I got to pick a side, but I would go with the under now that we know that there's going to be rain. Jared Goff, not great in weather. outdoors. And we don't know what's going on with Jordan Love. So under.
Going under the 47.5 there. All right.
Yeah, this will probably be one I wait to see what the hell is going on with the weather,
Yeah.
with the injuries.
There's a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
But should be a great game. Entertaining, to say the least.
So to recap my card here, I got Bills -6, Commies -4, and then I am going over 47.5 in Lions and Packers. And Chris, you are right. The Packers, those are my spirit animals as well. Beer, cheese, brats. I like all of that. I love it. It's on my list. I want to go shirtless to a game in Lambeau
Oh,
in
please don't.
in late December one day. I
Please
want to do it.
Keep your shirt on.
I want to roll out the barrel.
Save the children.
All right,
You'll be kicked out faster than the Yankee fans. Oh, did you see where Gronk said the guy, the one that was holding the glove,
He went to college with him, right?
Yeah, and he played on the hockey team or
which I think it's club hockey in Arizona because Arizona State has D1 hockey. They're the furthest south Division I hockey team, but Arizona has club hockey. Which, of course, Gronk knows a guy who's assaulting Mookie Betts. Of course he does. Of course he does.
Yeah. Can we talk about one more game? Go back to college, just so you can put up that graphic.
I was just about to do that. So before we go to
Florida,
our underdog picks here, Florida and Georgia, which was almost my dog this week, Florida, but I just think they have too many injuries. But Florida having a little bit of fun with Georgia. Obviously, this game is in Jacksonville, so neutral sites there. Georgia fans will be making that short trip down. Florida posted on their Twitter, on their official account, by the way. We will, and then with the seeing emoji, eyes emoji, we'll see you in Jacksonville for Florida, Georgia this weekend. But no matter where you're coming from, get there early with a designated driver. Drive
safely, but
I said safely.
You said early.
Oh, I'm dumb. Get there safely. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm drinking. But yeah. Yeah. But this is this is grade A trolling here.
Oh yeah.
Grade A. Anytime that you can troll but also come off as like I'm just looking out for the people is great because you can be on your high horse and be high and mighty, but then also like rub it in your rival. This is great. I'm also intrigued to see how ETN plays in this matchup too for Georgia. Making that move coming across as a transfer from Florida going over to Georgia will be interesting to see. I'm sure he'll be wanting to have a good game for the Dogs. I know that Gator defense will be hungry. Florida's played better over the last few weeks. I was trying to make a case for Florida money line here. I can't do it anymore. It was more of just trying to have a feel. I can't do it. But if did you guys have a thought on this game?
Georgia.
This is another. Yeah, my initial thoughts is Georgia big, but I don't know that the hook scares me. They're 14.5-point favorites. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with this one yet. Maybe the over. DJ Lagway, is that his name?
Yeah. DJ Lagway.
He had 7 completions against Kentucky last week, but he had 259 yards in those 7 completions.
Jesus.
So obviously he's throwing the ball deep. I don't know. This should be a fun game. I think Georgia should win big, but I don't know. This feels like a 14-point win. Florida wins by the hook. But yeah, it should be a fun game. Let's see what DJ Lagway really has.
By the way, this game is on my bucket list of games I want to go to. Haven't heard too much buzz about Frat Beach this week, but Jacksonville Beach, they call it Frat Beach during this week, is just a zoo. Obviously the proximity of these two schools, and then with the Jaguars doing the complete reconstruction of the stadium or whatever. I think next year's game is going to be in Atlanta, and then the year after that it's going to be in Tampa. And then hopefully everything will be done with the Jags, and then they'll go back to the reinvented, Jaguar Stadium, whatever they want to call it, at that point. I love that they're going to keep this a neutral site game, though. In almost everything else, I love home and home on campus. Just with the proximity of these schools and the culture of this game, it needs to be in Jacksonville. It needs to be a neutral site game.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do they lose a home game as far as like money?
No, actually, forget who it was. I saw this week with how the ticket sales are split. It actually does better for these teams to have this game at a neutral site. They actually make more money
Yeah,
on this.
they're not giving away
Do they split
student
it?
tickets.
Yeah, I think they split tickets like pretty much, almost like a Texas Oklahoma, except you don't get that beautiful scene of the burnt orange and the crimson like right next to each other. They intersperse a little bit more in this game, but still, they split the ticket sales. Both fan bases, it's a close drive. Jacksonville is just a perfect place. Both fan bases wear jean shorts and tank
For the
tops.
game.
Yeah,
For the
it's
game. Not
for
a
this
perfect
game.
place.
Okay.
It's a perfect place for this game. Okay. They all have, I'm going to leave that joke out. They all have stickers of a certain affiliation on their truck, and they all have
Oh,
jean
God.
jean
Yeah.
shorts.
It will
It's a
be
perfect
the
place.
most excitement for a football game of any type this year in Jacksonville.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right, let's get into our underdog parlay here. We're getting close on these bad boys.
I
We're
forgot about
getting
this.
real,
We
We
real
get
got
close
close.
last
fucked
week.
last week.
Yeah,
No, we got fucked
which
last week.
to be fair, there wasn't a lot of upsets at all
No,
last
Yeah.
week. So
no. There's a sign right now on College Game Day. Some guy's holding up that says Ryan Day hates foliage. That's so great. Like, who hates
that is great.
foliage?
It's funny.
They also showed the Penn State Creamery because Penn State's a big dairy school. Obviously,
Yeah.
they make ice cream like NC State and Penn State. Apparently, it's supposed to have like amazing ice cream. Um, Chris, not the kind of creamery that you're used to.
Oh, my
Um,
God.
but yeah. All right, let's go to our underdog parlay here. First up, who's on the Illini?
That is me. They are
I,
home dogs against Minnesota,
Minnesota.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that just seemed very strange to me. Illinois is still ranked. Minnesota has been hot and cold all year. Um, Illinois at home as a dog, sure.
I like that. Give me Brett Bielema and the boys as well. I did bet that earlier this morning too. So Illinois plus the 130. And Scotty, you're on UW.
Yeah, automatic fade, USC and Lincoln Raleigh on the road. Now, this one isn't across the country like his other ones this year have been, but Washington hasn't lost a game at home this year. USC hasn't won a game on the road this year. So why not? Give me Washington.
By the way, when the schedule first came out this year and you saw USC Washington, wouldn't you think this? Oh man, this is gonna be like an amazing game. Maybe a couple of teams trying to get into the playoff. All the
Yeah,
pizzazz is gone from
Yeah.
this one.
a couple teams that can't win on the road. They're both 4-4, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
both 4-4. I'm going to break the Big Ten party here, and I'm going with the Cox. South Carolina. Should have only hit that once. I hit it twice, but I'm going with the Cox. South Carolina at plus 135. Before I go into my analysis of this game, I do have a little bone to pick with South Carolina. It's
You got a boner
homecoming.
to pick with the Cox?
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with the Cox. It's homecoming in Columbia this evening, and they're not honoring the '84 Black Magic team. That South Carolina team went 10-2, and they reached number 2 in the polls at one point that season. South Carolina has not had a lot of success in football. Obviously, they have George Rogers, I think 1980 Heisman Trophy winner. But for the most part, South Carolina has been a football wasteland. They've done less with more. You can look at the football resources from the talent in that state recruiting than a lot of other places. But it's a travesty that they're not officially honoring this team. There was a spokesman that was reached out for South Carolina and said, oh, they only do big anniversaries, 25 year, 50 year, whatever. This is 40 years since Black Magic. They should have had him there. I digress. Going to my pick on this is a classic letdown game for the Aggies. Coming off a big win over LSU. Now they're going on the road at night to Williams-Brice. It's a different place, especially at night. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be for A&M. You would assume Marcel Reed, who lit it up last week against LSU, but Connor Wegman's gotten starts as well. Elko hasn't said. I guess we'll find out who walks out under center there. South Carolina 5-1 against the spread versus the AP top 10 since 2021. That's second best in the nation. And South Carolina can and will get after the quarterback. The key for them is just going to be their defense. They're going to have to overcome situations that the offense puts them in because South Carolina will turn the ball over. Bad field position, turnovers, whatever it may be. Defense is going to have to lead the way. It's going to have to be ugly. I don't think they want to get in a shootout with the Aggies. I think they want to get into a bar fight. I like the toughness. Give me the special teams with Beamer ball. Give me the crowd. And I think that's what wins this game. People like to overplay home field advantage. Williams-Brice at night with the cockpit is a very intimidating place. That's what they call the student section. It's the cockpit.
So stupid.
I'm going with the Cox. Give me South Carolina at 135. Put those three together into a parlay on ESPN Bet. You got plus 1035. Scotty, if you go to the bank and you talk to the nice lady and you make a withdrawal of a crisp $100 bill, and then you go and you put that into your parlay, what does that pay?
Yeah, speaking of money and gambling, sounds like somebody's stacking poker chips. I don't know what that noise is.
Chris, is that you?
Yeah. That's the plumbing.
Well, hopefully you don't get flooded.
Sorry.
It's actually
somebody's taking a shower.
It's the army of mice marching 2 by 2 into battle.
Hurrah, hurrah.
I'm sorry.
At
least the dog's not barking.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we need. No, this would be the time we need the dogs to bark.
Yes, we need the dogs to bark.
Yeah.
This is the underdog, aka hat tip to Barstool Hank, hungry dog parlay right here. We need the dogs to bark here. They're gonna bark today. This is the day that we hit one. Illini, Huskies, Cox, plus 1035. Go ahead.
To answer your question, you bet $100, you win 1,035.
1,035.
Yeah.
What would you spend the 1,035 on, Scotty? More
probably
bets?
Another parlay. Yeah.
I'm buying beer. Oh, and look at this. ESPN showing Dave Dorn walk into the stadium there. State 26-6 at home since 2021. I can't remember the time I've been less enthused for an NC State game. I'm going to watch this game against Stanford, but my God, I'm not thrilled for NC State Stanford here.
I almost put that on my card just to shit on you, but Stanford sucks.
Stanford's terrible.
Both teams terrible against the spread because I was trying to make a case for Stanford too, but yeah.
You bastard. The winner gets the winner gets crowned the better engineering school, I guess. I guess all we got to look for in this game. But all right, Illini, Huskies, Cox. Let's ride with it. Plus 1035, and you can find us here on Thursday night, 6:45. Same channels. Let's Not Do This podcast. We'll talk about Thursday night football, weird news, all that good stuff here. Anything to add, boys, before we get out of here?
Nope.
No, I'm just ready to fucking go back to bed.
You lead a great life there, Chris.
I'm on vacation, baby.
And the noise stops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As soon as we're done.
Yeah.
Hey, if our underdog parlay hits, then we need whatever was happening to happen next week.
Just leave the faucet running upstairs.
Yeah, there you go.
I was going to
just
make
for the underdog part.
Y'all never seen the movie Porky's, have you?
Say it again.
Yeah, weren't you the star?
Never.
Fuck you. You never seen Porky's?
No, Fat Kid.
No, it's like Animal House, but like a little bit raunchier. You got to go back and watch it. I was going to make.
I'm thinking of Meatballs. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm showing my age. No, I've never seen Meatballs. I'm not a child. All right, Scotty, bump us the hell out of here. They got a kid that's about to kick for $110,000 at Penn State. Yeah, hopefully
you've seen a lot of Meatballs.
Oh, no, you know what? A meatball sub does sound good today.
That does sound good. One. Firehouse.
No, you got to make your own meatball sub.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Hell yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
We're doing lines. We've done lines. Chris is the only person who's done line and go to bed. We're out.
Peace.